let's jump into our next segment. This is Pages, Panels, and Pixels. And we're going to start right in with an announcement of a new comic book series. On Friday, StarWars.com announced a new 5-part miniseries featuring one of the greatest Jedi of all times, Mace Windu. Star Wars Jedi of the Republic, Mace Windu, is set to hit comic book shelves this August, written by Matt Owens, drawn by Dennis Cohen. It is set to take place right after the start of the Clone Wars. Nick, it's a Clone Wars comic with Mace Windu, and you're playing with BB-8. But what do you want to see in this Mace Windu comic?
That's another one that could be a standalone film. I'll just I always had a bias towards Mace Windu because purple is my favorite color.
Right.
And that's just my favorite thing. That purple lightsaber is my favorite thing. I could see more of that in my life.
How's BB-8 doing?
He's just getting back and
We just have this interactive set, and Nick's just having a great time. How about you back up Poe's X-Wing so it doesn't fall off the Collector Series box set there? All right, there we go. Boop. We just take care of our things. Getting back on topic, though, I have to see him. I want to see him on Dantooine, and the only reason why I bring that up is the fact that that's where he was in that micro series that came out in like 2003, and we see him take on this like monstrosity of a trade federation. It was like a crusher. It was the machine that they used to create the craters that they placed the stations in. But he just destroys hundreds of droids, and it was really cool because for the first time you really got to see Mace Windu perform his style of combat, which was created by him, and it was something that he practiced where he mixed dark side into his fighting, and I think that'd be really cool. I'd also like to maybe see some conversations with him, Yoda, and Obi-Wan, similar to what we see in Revenge of the Sith, where they're walking down the temple corridor and they're talking about, is this prophecy wrong, or are we not doing what we need to with Anakin, or how is Anakin's progress? I feel like Mace Windu is always that guy in the prequels saying, we shouldn't be training this guy. It's a bad idea. Yep. He's scared. He's cold. He's too old. He's not dedicated enough. I'd like to really see that relationship investigated more, because I think that has more of a payoff than in Revenge of the Sith.
And also in the comics, I'm calling it now, the last one, and that probably is going to be him surviving, getting thrown off in Coruscant.
Would that not be cool if, like,
He's
the last
alive.
panel? Well,
Okay, if Maul survived that shenanigans, then Mace Windu.
The Star Wars galaxy is just
alive.
full of shenanigans.
He had like robot legs. That's not cool.
I would love for like the last panel to be a jump, but that's not probably going to happen.
Mace Windu's alive.
But he did come out. Samuel L. Jackson did come out at Star Wars Celebration, and he said on the screen he thanked George for including him in the universe, and then he just starts yelling that Mace Windu's alive and that they need to bring him back. And we
don't see his death in Star Wars. If we don't see a death, they're still alive.
That is a truth. I would love to see him back somehow in 9. I don't think it happens, but I think it would be really cool if he was just hiding the entire time.
What if that's the thing in episode 8?
If that was the reveal?
If that's the reveal, Mace Windu just shows up. He actually is the one that like did bad things with Luke.
You've heard the Mace Windu theory that he's Snoke, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, we do not endorse that theory. I don't like it.
That's kind of
devious. I still want Snoke to be Plagueis, but
I want Mace Windu to be good too. He was always kind of like a James Bond character for me. I feel like he was just the one that was just really suave, and he's my guy.
Mace
Windu's my guy.
We all need heroes. Let's jump to our next topic. This was also breaking in the world of comic news this week. Readers will now get a one-shot issue explaining how our favorite duo from Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, Cassian and or K-2S0, met. It will be penned by Dwayne Straczynski. Now, is this a story that we even need? Nick, what do you think?
I'm very back and forth. I'm really back and forth on the fact that Star Wars either makes droids have personalities and then don't have personalities. Sometimes I think it's very cartoony and I hate it. And then I think in Rogue One is a good mix. I think they captured him really well in that, where he wasn't like obnoxious like some things, but he was still very kind of comedic. He had really comedic moments. I think it'd be interesting. I mean, obviously he had to be involved in some type of, like a fight or something, an Imperial fight. That's how they had to meet at some point. So it definitely would be an action story.
I was curious to know how these two really did run into each other. How does Cassian acquire K-2S0? And I think that the comic book is a great outlet for them to tell that story. I really didn't want a whole novel on this. and I think this is a great opportunity, a great idea for a one-shot. You know, they did something. They gave C-3PO a comic to explain how he got the red arm, and that was just an atrocious story. This could really have some value to it. I think this is a great idea. And again, making it a one-shot, it seems like it's going to be a pretty clear, concise story. Maybe it's a thicker book. Maybe it's not just your 22-page comic. Maybe it's, 44, So
I think you make it shorter, because I think part of the reason they're doing this, too, is because I think K-2S0 kind of fit with the children a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so I think this would kind of get kids to go gravitate towards the comics, and then maybe they can go from there to start venturing in other markets, kind of thing.
Very cool. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Like in the Halo universe, I ventured into Halo comics because of I wanted to know one background story that they had, and then from there I kind of took off from there. So I think if you can get one demographic into the comic book market, and then they'll kind of start venturing from there, because I think it's kind of neat. So
absolutely. Now we are kind of running on out of time for this segment. So before we go on to the next, I do want to mention Poe Dameron, number 15, Star Wars issue 31, which is part 2 of the Screaming Citadel series. It's a 5-part miniseries going on right now. Both really great stories. Poe Dameron, basically the rebellion or the resistance has run out of fuel. He has to go get the fuel. And Star Wars 31, that is just such a complicated story. But it's okay, because you know why? We did comic book breakdowns of both of these issues. You can find them right now on our YouTube channel, right below this video.